So there's like an interesting character to those who would be considered libertarian, as far as like there's always like a weird, eccentric tendency that you can find, at least in like mainstream, high calibrated libertarians, let's say, as far as like they're drug addicts, or they're, they have some weird eccentric thing. And I mean, I'm thinking about this in terms of, the popular ones, or the ones that you kind of see at like a libertarian convention. And I've been thinking about this because John McAfee recently was murdered, or not, who knows? Who cares? Honestly, and this is not like the point. I don't care if he was killed or wasn't killed. There's some weird reaction to like how people respond to a person who is like John McAfee, like what was that guy, the Tiger King guy? He was, I forgot his name. He's the Tiger King guy. I don't know. He's a libertarian too. Alex Jones. These are eccentric people. These are people who are fucking out there. And there's like this weird like cuck tendency for people to be like, oh, they're dangerous. I've heard that before. It's like, they're interesting. when you say dangerous, I say, look, and obviously there can be people who are like eccentric weirdos who also do bad things, right? Who like will go against my moral standing. They could like murder someone because they have some kind of like drug dispute. I mean, John McAfee was accused of killing a guy. And look, all I'm saying is that when you see someone who's like an adventurous spirit and they're like out there enjoying extraordinary freedom, those are the people you write stories about. And so it's like this weird thing where, if that's not the life you want to live personally, I mean, like, just no one's asking you to become an interesting person by becoming insane and wanting to go do insane things. However, what's the point of the derision and like the disliking of insane, crazy libertarian type people who enjoy extreme freedom? I don't like doing I don't believe in like doing stimulants or whatever, so like cocaine would not be my drug of choice. But like, if that's like your thing, like John McAfee liked cocaine. I also Tiger King liked meth. It's like, it's a thing. He captured tigers. He fucked a bunch of guys because he was like a homosexual, and then he was like, and he did meth, and it's like, that's a fucking crazy dude right there. And it's like, what's this sort of like disdain? Like, these people are crazy and they're like out there. It's like, what is that not like, maybe you wouldn't want to be friends with them or something because they're kind of, but they're a character. What's wrong with a character? And the people like to shit on Elon Musk too. I mean, he's not the most libertarian person at all times. Sometimes he proposes some government bullshit that's like, dude, what's wrong with you? But I digress. He's also a character, and people have this sort of like this mundane shaming. Like it's like, you should just be more like normal people. It's like, what? No one likes like when there's like a celebrity who's just a garbage. I honestly find more immorality with people who are passive, with people who don't do anything. When you just sit around and you like, roast people on Twitter, and you are pretty much a boring shithead who's done something that has made people like you, like a Jenner, or I mean, like, who knows, right? I'm just throwing out, like, lots of celebrities are not like exciting people. They just do movies, and then that's it, and people just enjoy that. There is like if it's all insulated in like this person's little world, like, who gives a shit that this is like their life is crazy? And I'm just here to just say, because I had this thought, and I had this response too when I was talking with someone about Alex Jones, and I'm like, Alex Jones is an insane person, but like, I'm not talking about him poorly. I mean, he was right on a lot of things, and people don't like hearing that. It's like, oh, but he's dangerous. It's like, fuck off. Yeah, he's dangerous, or he's someone who is a interesting person. Does he say things that are wrong sometimes? Yeah, when he's wrong, is it like bad? Like because he stirs up the schizophrenics? So honestly, the schizophrenics have attacked him. All right, like the people who watch his show are not like, I'd say like 1% of them go out and do some crazy. I mean, that's probably too high, even in that. But point being, I wouldn't even say the word dangerous implies that it should be stopped, and he shouldn't be stopped. He's a free, screaming crazy guy who's right about things sometimes, and I respect the shit out of that. I consider myself to be in the same camp of people who's like kind of out there and kind of insane, like a little bit, like I talk and I'm more self-aware, but I really do spiritually like identify with like these crazy libertarian weirdo types, and for someone to just sort of throw them all under the bus and be like, oh, you're being out there. It's like, fuck you. You're a boring piece of shit. You're not interesting. These people, can criticize their lives as you will, are a million times more interesting than you are. They will have books written about them. You will die, and you will die nameless and in debt, probably. So fuck you. Like, it's just not something that I really understand the derision of. Honestly, if a normal person be like, yeah, I just don't want to have to deal with like, society or people thinking I'm crazy, so I just don't want to do that, but like live and let live, dude. That's respectable too. It's when people are like browbeaty about the characters of the world, of the internet, who are wanting to do, even people I don't agree with, like Ghazi Kodzo, who's a fucking communist. He's a character. I would, he would want to take my money and probably commit like a genocide against me, but he's a character, he's a guy. When you're just being an eccentric guy, I really can't fault you. It's when you start to be like radically kind of shaming into like a new conformity or some kind of conformity. If it's just like, well, I'm doing my thing, just don't bother me. Like, I respect that. I don't respect when people try and like box you in.